Hello, my name's Tom Carhill. It's Monday, the 12th of May, 2014. I'm doing another film about Bill Maloney, this apparent activist and filmmaker extraordinaire. I don't know. Things just haven't been adding up about the guy. They hadn't added up for a long time. So the thing that I'm going to focus on now is, right, he claims that he's made some films in the past. Now, I know what different people have different ideas about making a film means. Like, some people will literally just babble on in front of a camera or talk to somebody and have someone film it and they go, I made a film. And it's like, well, someone else really made that film. You didn't make it. You just sort of ask some questions in a documentary around some person's house. So different people have different ideas. Now, even in its most liberal sense of the word, right, if you're going to call yourself a filmmaker and, you inherently then will want to sort of like pick up little tricks about this and little tricks about that. As you do in any job, you're always interested in what the other people involved with it are doing, and you get a natural human curiosity. But he doesn't really seem to have that. I've covered in some of the other videos, and it doesn't quite ring true. Now, here, thinking about it on a little bit more of a zoomed out perspective, but again, not with my feet firmly placed on the ground. Let's say, right, you've made a film and people comment on it, people say this is good, that's bad, blah, blah, blah. And also, the people who you've helped make it will do this. Now, whether they be professionals or keen amateurs who know a lot about it, which some of them will be, or whether they be just like one of your members of your family, they'll still be looking at things and sort of, interrogating the process, trying to improve it, make it more efficient, make it easier, that type of thing. Now, one of the things that this bill always goes on about is the working classes and how he's working class and and how I mustn't swear or all swearing because that's how we talk. And he keeps going on about it. But you see, the point is that if you like swearing or you just naturally do it, or swearing, using bad language to use the correct term, right? That's fair enough. But if you just keep banging on about it the whole time, and you also, call people paedophiles who you actually mean are just like sex abusers of adults and stuff like that, it gets to the point where people are going to sort of start going, right, well, that doesn't really make sense. You should, retake that and don't say that word, or, rejig this. Next time, try not to go on about not swearing or swearing, and because it just drives people, it just will do people's heads in. It's not funny anymore. It doesn't have any kind of rough diamond like appeal. You should stop doing it. And he hasn't done that. He just keeps saying it every time he has an interview that he does, and then they're not really interviews. He just rocks up and starts blathering on. It always comes back to the same thing, right? So the last time I was aware of him, he'd done this interview, as he called it, where he'd gone up to this thing about the Bradbury pound in Parliament with some kind of protest, and he rocks up and he goes, and he gets on the camera and he's like this. I still don't know whether he just thinks he's absolutely brilliant and therefore he just doesn't care. But he just goes, to be honest, I come here because I was bored. Yeah, I was bored. I don't even know what Bradbury pound is. Yeah, what am I heard about institutional child abuse? And he's off on one in a kind of like really energetic manner. And then as he sort of cools down a little bit, he starts talking on again. He's dodging about. And he goes, yeah, and he said something, and for emphasis, he was going to say fucking something or another, and he sort of goes, right in like that, instead of saying it. And he goes, oh, I would have done that, but that couple would have had me, because there's a policeman standing near him. And you just start thinking that this doesn't really strike you as the kind of behaviour of somebody who's made a few documentaries and trying to get across a serious message, because he was near Parliament, right? Now, he's apparently from South London. It was in the middle of the day, it wasn't in the middle of the night, it wasn't early in the morning from the looks of things. And it was in the winter, so it would have been dark if it had been really early in the morning. And no protest happened really in the morning. Now, this is significant because if you drive up to London from South London, it actually takes quite a long time. You could have got the tube or something. The point is, it's still taking a while to get there. So if you end up there and you just start talking rubbish straight away, I mean, well, it just doesn't really ring true. Is he just a complete idiot, or has he not? Or has he deliberately got... Because you know what I'm trying to say is, you'd be thinking about the important things you wanted to say, and you'd think of a better format. Now, he just didn't really seem to do that. And this is another thing which compounds this. there's this lady called Lou Collins, right? Now, just about the time when everybody was realising that Brian Gerrish was just like a horrible subversive creep who was using agitated families who'd had their children taken off them as a sort of basis for his Saul Alinsky rules for radicals, agitate a target, then, you get like a lot of attention from that target, and then you sort of use that to empower yourself, because, they're just unreasonable. I've helped them so much, but of course these people can't defend themselves because they're at wit's end. Yeah? This Lou Collins turned up. Now, Lou Collins is quite clearly a Jew, right? Now, a lot of people think Brian Gerrish is a Jew as well, but the whole point is, one of the other people who works for Brian Gerrish is a Jew. Apparently, doesn't like Muslims, doesn't like brown people. He's funded by somebody who doesn't like brown people, doesn't like Muslims, and now he's got another Jew. Now, I'm not saying all Jews don't like Muslims, and I mean, I don't know where she comes from, and she sounds English, but she just clearly is a Jew by looking at her. And a lot of people think Gerrish is a Jew as well. But the point is, so this woman's popped up and arrives there right now, Jew or not Jew, right? She hasn't flown there on a broomstick or used a teleporter. She's come from Portsmouth or somewhere around there to turn up at this thing, right? About the Bradbury Pound. Now, I don't even know what the Bradbury Pound is either. But if he's agreed to meet up with her, now fair enough, she might have gone there just to cover that. But, you see, that's been a big effort for her to get there. So you see, even when we've been sarcastic, if she has phoned him up and said, I'm going to meet you down there, you'd think that he'd have a little bit more sense, rather than just like bobbing around and just going, child abuse, yeah. And he's going on about Nick Clegg, and how Nick Clegg should have known about Leon Britton or something like that, because Leon Britton was apparently his mentor or something. Well, we all know that all the politicians are paedophiles and paedophile minders. Everybody knows that anyway. So it's kind of very, very weird. And it's just like, is he just literally like a one-trick pony who's got absolutely nothing to say? And the most interesting thing he can do is go and talk to someone who's been sexually abused, who's a bit pissed in their house, or a few people, and they're just sort of crying and get very upset about all how it's destroyed their lives. Like, fair enough, that's, it's a valuable thing to do. But it's not exactly, it's like one-trick ponyism. I mean, where's he going to go from this? And when you think he's been hanging around with people like, or he's gone to things where Belinda McKenzie's there, things where Brian Gerrish is there, he still hasn't shunned Brian Gerrish, and that he should have shunned that Lou Collins, because she just works with Brian Gerrish. What is he playing at? I don't know. I just think it all just doesn't make enough sense. There's too many things there that don't make sense. I mean, like I said, to start off with, if you've made a film in the past, other people say you should improve this thing. It's not a lot of effort to not keep going on about being in the working classes and about talking. This is the thing. If you've got a problem with using bad language, or you decide it's not a good idea, that's fair enough, or you want to use it, that's fair enough. There's two options. But the point is, if you've got a serious message, I'd say generally speaking, you shouldn't. Or probably it's not a good idea, but I mean, each their own. There's lots of different, all paths lead to God and all that, but it's just, a jumbled mess leads nowhere. And then as well, he should have thought about the structure of it a bit more, but he didn't seem to think about the structure. So is he just like an egomaniac and he just turns up to things? I mean, do you see what I mean? Is he one of these people who's effectively been used as a kind of a useful idiot who'll turn up to things, and at some stage in the future they'll be able to use someone will be able to use their advantage? I don't really know. But anyway, I'd be interested in your thoughts, because it just does not make enough sense. There's too many things that aren't adding up with the guy, and things like not knowing how to use the camera, being extremely ungracious and big-headed, and all these things, they don't sit too well. I mean, like if you're worried about something important like children being taken away, and especially taken away and abused in care homes and stuff, I mean, I don't know. I don't know whether his demeanour and stuff, I just don't think it's... I mean, I agree, it should be humour and stuff like that, very good. But there's too many things about it that don't really make sense. And I'm just sort of thinking, plus his associations, plus the fact that he apparently had this kind of cut-out... He could already... Basically, when I say a cut-out, he'd already filmed. He'd already won a film award, allegedly. A bit like Tony Farrell, he's already got his story in place. I have been sacked for writing a report. I am an intelligence analyst, even though he clearly wasn't, and he never worked for the police. Or maybe he does now, but he certainly never did. Okay, my name's Tom Carhill. It's Monday, the 12th of May 2014. I'll be interested to hear what you have to say. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.